Hello guys, welcome to the channel. It's your boy EO here. So I'm not gonna pretend that I've been living in Nairobi for 5 years, for 10 years. So I've only been once, and that first time that I went there to Nairobi, Kenya, my eyes, it opened up my eyes to different possibilities, and it wasn't what I expected. That's all I can say. So if you're from the UK like me, or you're from the US or Canada, there's a couple of things that you need to know before actually coming to Nairobi, whether you're visiting Kenya for holiday or you're looking to move there permanently. This is the video for you. So the first thing that you guys need to be aware of is the traffic in Nairobi. Guys, the traffic in Nairobi is so bad. You could be waiting on the motorway or on the road for like a couple hours just to get to your destination. We had a restaurant booked for 7, so we took Uber to go there, and we was literally stuck in the traffic for hours because we was trying to get to Tattoo City from Nairobi Westland. So yeah, we was going from Westlands, and it took us like 2 hours to get there. A journey that was supposed to take us like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, ended up taking us 2 hours just to get there. So that's something that you guys need to be aware of before coming to Kenya. But then, in London, traffic is normally common here. It normally gets busy around peak hours. So that would be hours from 5, 6 p.m. Sometimes you might have to leave a bit early, maybe leave 2 to 3 hours early to make sure that you get to where you want to get to on time. So this leads me to the second point, which is that the driving in Nairobi is terrible. Whole of Kenya is terrible because sometimes when I was in Kenya, I would be seeing so many cars driving on the pavement. You won't see any traffic lights. You won't see any pedestrian crossing. You're not going to see anything like that in Nairobi. It's pretty much just a straight road, and people are trying to bump into each other to try to overtake people. So that's what you're probably going to experience when you go to Nairobi. There's been some times when I tried to cross the road, and sometimes I'll be scared for my life because I'm afraid a car might hit me. So what I would normally do, right, is I would normally walk with a group of people on the road, or I would make sure that when I'm crossing the road, I'm running. I'm not walking, I'm running. So you have to be careful, especially if you're not used to it. If you're coming from the US or the UK, people that drive over there are very safe. Sometimes you would see traffic lights, you would see, big motorways, traffic signs, you would see different signs on the road. Yeah, if you go to Nairobi, you're not going to see any of those things back in the US, back in the UK, because Nairobi is still developing. It's still a developing country, so it still has a long way to go. Even though it's got nice malls, another point is that Nairobi is expensive. I don't care what anybody says about Nairobi being cheap. Yes, it's cheap. Yes, the accommodation is cheap. Yes, the food is cheap. But everything in Nairobi comes at a cost. You have to pay for everything. If you want someone to drive you around, you have to pay for that service. You also have to tip people in the restaurant as well. You have to tip people when you go places. There's been some times when, for example, this girl was showing me around and she asked me for money. So, of course, I have to give her the money. I'm not going to be like, no, I'm not giving you any money. You have to give them money, so. And if you're talking to a girl or you're seeing a girl, you have to pay for the date. You have to pay for the Uber. In Africa, pretty much the man is supposed to pay for most of the stuff. It's not going to be 50-50 where I pay half and you pay half. No, this is not the UK. It's not the UK. It's not the US where people are expected to split the bill. So yeah, if you're not careful, all your money is going to be gone and you're going to have no money left. Another thing is that you guys cannot be having your phone out because so many times, it's really common in Nairobi for people to be snatching people's phones, taking people's phones. People need to be careful, you can't be having your phone out and texting when you're on the motorcycle or you're in an Uber. Keep your phone in your pocket. Don't take it out, in public spaces. So yeah, of course, it happens in the UK, in the US. But if it happens, if people take your phone, you can always go to the police and report your phone being stolen. If you try and do it in Nairobi, yeah, the police, they're a bit more relaxed, and more than likely you're probably gonna have to pay them for their services. So yeah, it's not the same. Even though yeah, it's a crime in both countries to be taking people's phones, but in Kenya, people can get away with it. But in the UK, the US, you can always report it to the police and they would try and do something about it. So if you guys have experienced any of this in Nairobi, or if you guys have any questions that you want me to answer, make sure to leave a comment down below, and also make sure to like the video and subscribe. Peace.